Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the monthly forecast for August for the sign of Virgo. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Virgo, this is a video you may want to watch. Or if you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Virgo, I would consider 3 or more heavily placed. This could be an indication of what sort of August you might be experiencing. Remember, this is a broad spectrum reading intended for a lot of different people. So take what you need and leave the rest. If things don't make sense or don't apply to your life, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean anything's broken. You might be working on something different. There's also a lot of other factors that factor in as far as the degrees to which each planet is in the sign for you. All of those things can affect the reading. So keep that in mind. So take it and use it as best you can. If it applies, great. Share this video out with any Virgos you know. If you're here cross-watching on behalf of a Virgo, that's completely fine too. And what else do I have to say? Please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube. Greatly appreciate that. Come join us for the daily forecast every day. We have that over on the YouTube channel. Those of you that are watching on the Facebook business page, share this video out with any groups, friends, whatever you feel, whoever you feel could use this. And leaving questions and comments is always appreciated. I do read them all. So if you feel like leaving a question or comment, you certainly can. So the first card that I chose is from the I Am Everything deck. It's a small oracle deck, but I felt like since we've had Leo season, I felt like it's a kind of a very positive, very much in line with this Leo energy. So this is more like maybe as the guide card this month, this may be, ouch, jaw, sorry. This may be the focus or the mantra that you need during the month of August, Virgo. So keep that in mind. So the card is number 4, I am safe. I trust my intuition to lead me down the right path. Looking back on my trials, I see that I am here and thriving. I always end up better, stronger, and wiser. I have proven to myself that I will always make it time and time again. I am safe. Card number 4, I like that this is associated with I am safe, only because to me, I always say represents bring on a sense of stability, right? When you think about 4 legs on a table, it stabilizes the, oh, sorry, my jaw is hurting. It stabilizes, I can barely swallow, it's crazy. It stabilizes the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the balance, but, one second. Sorry, guys. Sorry, my jaw's just having a rough time this morning. All right. So it stabilizes and kind of brings, I don't know, stability. There we go, Virgo. Sorry, it's early. My jaw has woke me up this morning. It's like not my day. Let's just say that. So I like that it feels I am safe. That there's a sort of a sense of reflection in this card as we look through sort of what we've been through, and then we look at the present moment. There's kind of a connection between the two, bringing about an awareness that allows us to settle into a sense of security, into safety, understanding that we can care for ourselves, right? That we can know that we will be okay in the month of August. So if there's been any stress, worry, fears around situations, whatever it be, I feel like those things should be leaving you. They should be subsiding, and maybe a new sense is coming in for the month of August, where we feel certainly, like I said, more stable, more I don't know, capable of giving ourselves what we need, rather than maybe depending on others or situations to provide that to us. Does that make sense? All right, let me get through this reading. So the center card is the U card. It tells me sort of where you guys are at in the month of August, sort of where you're centered at for the majority of the month. It also gives me indication as to what could potentially be created for the future. So keeping that in mind, let's look at that card. I love it. This is Virgo's card. This is the Nine of Pentacles. Pentacles being earth energy. This card is closely associated with Virgo, just in general. Usually depicted in a traditional deck with a singular woman standing in a field of grapes with a falcon, right? Here we have a cat, but still, she's still in that field. She still has her falcon. This is that independence. This is that I am safe. This is that providing for ourselves energy that we see in I am safe. This is about looking at everything we've been through and all of that we have in the present moment and being appreciative, being self-sufficient, being on top of our game, right? I love, and the reason why this card I consider to be very closely related to Virgo in particular is because that woman stands in the center. She represents sort of, to me, the virgin that Virgo is a part of, right? And so she is, what I call this card, there's a song by Kelly Clarkson called Miss Independent. She is Miss Independent, right? She is, she provides for herself. She does provide for others and certainly can, but she's able to take care of her own needs. She makes it happen, right? She's not sort of needy in any way or at a loss. She's not operating at a loss by any means. She's clear, she's concise, she knows what she wants, she knows how to go about getting it. So I like all of this, these two cards playing off of one another. This feels very, to me, solid, let's say, grounded, centered, right? There could be, for some of you with this Nine of Pentacles in the center, there could be some focus on the money or the amassing of further wealth. That's fine. This is a great card to have in the center if this is a focus for you this month. But just know that everything that you have or you need, you already have, if that makes sense. And so focusing and living in that place or reality and really looking at it from a present time space, you know, like really making that sort of your truth will also aid and allow for this stability and this awareness of being safe that you can provide for yourself. The next card is the Foundation. This is the card from the past that tells me a bit about sort of, God, my jaw is messing with me. It tells me a bit about sort of where things were at and what was going on in the past that allowed things to become the way that they are today in the reading, right? It's also the memory of this card that could be driving things into the future or holding things sort of in place. The memory of this card can be holding things in place, so we want to be aware of this. Okay. Ten of Swords, full-on betrayal. But it's an ending too, Virgo. It may be a betrayal. It may be a long war that we had to fight. It may be a fight within ourselves or with others. It could be a fight where we were not seen, not honored, not validated in some way, shape, or form. But it's like we had to come to some sort of understanding. Tens always, to me, are the closing up of a chapter, right? And although the Ten of Swords can be a bit of a gruesome card and it can indicate a bit of a struggle, sometimes a loss in a way, ultimately, the closing up of the 10 lets us know that whatever suffering was going on, whatever stress, worry, and this could be suffering of our mind. Virgos, you guys, of the earth signs, you guys think, I feel like, right? Of the earth signs, you guys, not to say that Taurus and Capricorn don't think, but I feel like Virgo is very discerning, right? You guys tend to even like lean into the place of judgment, which is not a bad thing. It can be a gift with Virgos, but it also can be your Achilles heel in a way, right? Your own thought or your own self-criticism can sometimes be your cross to bear in a way, right? So when I'm looking at this Ten of Swords, to me, this indicates a period where either we felt judged or our own thoughts have like sort of, in a way, wrecked us, right, around a situation. But ultimately, there's freedom in this Ten of Swords, right? There's this freedom in the Nine of Pentacles. We're finally getting back to ourselves is the feeling that I get from this Nine of Pentacles being in the center. After maybe a long struggle, whether it was within our own mind or with someone else or a situation outside of ourselves, we're no longer engaging. We're like, to me, excuse the expression, but it's like, fuck this, out of here. Like I'm not doing this anymore is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from these cards. And there's a freedom in that. Excuse me. God, I'm a mess this morning. Sorry, Virgo. Please don't judge me. Anyways, I know you won't. I love Virgo. Really. My mom's a Virgo. I love my mom, even though we're fighting or whatever we're doing. I don't even know what we're fucking doing anymore, but I love her. And we're getting ready to head into your season 2 coming up. So this is a great time to sort of bring up this energy, right? To release ourselves from anything that like sort of harms us or holds us, and step into our own personal power, right? As we get into Virgo season. So good on you, Virgo. Like, make it happen, right? Understand that there is a bit of freedom through the rough journey that you've just been through, or the struggle that you've maybe been dealing with that lingers. It's like, it's also, I think that this card is, sometimes this card would worry me in this position, but I don't think so. I feel like this is actually a good thing, because the reminder is there. It says even here, I think, looking back on my trials, I see that I am still here and thriving. And that's the trials that we're looking back on, or, you know, that 10 of Swords, whatever those trials were for you, wherever they found themselves in your life, whether it was your own thoughts about yourself or situation, or the others that like sort of, maybe, I don't know if imprisoned might be a strong word, but maybe they hurt you or they invalidated you in some way, shape, or form. We've learned from that, right? And so this being in the foundation is the reminder that like, nope, that was a nice place to visit, but I sure ain't gonna live there, right? Like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. And so we're moving on in a very clean, clear, precise Virgo sort of, I think it's beautiful, right? So the next card is the Spirit, or the Soul card, right? This is the card that's above you. It tells you sort of what's going on for you, what your spirit wants you to focus on, or what your spirit wants you to be aware of, right? So this is the actual contrast to Virgo. This is the sign of Pisces. This is the Hanged Man card. I believe Sagittarius has the same position. Interesting. So the Hanged Man is about feeling that you might be a little bit stuck. You might be in a waiting pattern, in a hold, right? But in that hold, in that sort of stuck energy, in that position where you sort of need to get into the present moment, there is generally a feeling of, or an awareness, enlightenment, shift that comes from being in that moment. This here is major arcana, so this is a significant thing we don't want to gloss over, is my feeling when I look at this here in your cards. This is something that would be more sort of internal. Obviously, it's in the spirit position, so it would be something more connected to your spirit. It is about enlightenment. It is about sort of settling into where you are, maybe settling into this awareness of being safe where you are, settling into the understanding that you are your grand provider, i.e. that 9 of Pentacles, that no matter what has happened in the past, you can still sort of continue on and be successful. And that may be the very realization that you need this month. And as you make that realization more real, that didn't make much sense, I guess, but as you make that realization more your truth, let's say, you become stronger, you become more aware, and I believe that you will then be able to sort of move forward, right? It's interesting, we have the Hangman up in the spirit space, and then I see all of the swords pinned down into the bottom of the reading. Do you see the visual that I'm talking about? Like, all of these swords down here feel like they're almost maybe pinning you in place. So even though the 10 of Swords is from a situation or something we dealt with in the past, maybe some of those swords need to be dislodged, a few, so that we can move forward. But it's in line with your spirit card, right? So what I'm saying is the work that you're doing, the healing that you may be doing, the focus that you're having this month is for your benefit, even if it may not feel, if it might feel a little bit like, I don't know, I'm sort of wincing a little bit at those 10 swords down there, right? So feeling a little bit of pain or feeling a little bit of struggle, because sometimes the Hanged Man can be a bit frustrating. Like, we might want to move on, especially with that 9 of Pentacles in the center, right? That 9 of Pentacles is very much our energy, or Virgo energy. We want to move forward, but we're learning about maybe the other side of the coin within ourselves. That's the Pisces energy of the Hanged Man. Pisces and Virgo, Virgo is the 6th, Pisces is the 12th. I'm a Pisces, my mom's a Virgo. It's this funny thing, you find connections with, Virgos naturally find connections to Pisces. And the way I see that, I think they're called complementary signs. I'm not sure. There's a name for when a sign is directly across the zodiac. They have a specific name. I can't think of it right now. But it's like we're learning about the other side, right? That more spiritually centered, intuitively guided, connected. It may not be as practical or as material as Virgo is used to dealing with, as Virgo likes, right? But it's going to teach you. It's going to, in my mind, evolve you or free you in a way, right? Because the Hanged Man is about being stuck for a minute and having to be in that moment, relaxing into that moment, and just going, okay, what is the information here? What do I need to know so that I can, move forward? And you will. I think that you will learn it, right? That Nine of Pentacles makes me feel very positive for you guys. All right. God, my jaw. Okay. Next two cards are the outside influences. These are things that are affecting us either positively or negatively during the month. It can be people, events. They can be sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us. So one is the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is about being right in an argument, like boiling it down to a very simple space. This is about sort of that need to be right. This could be somebody or a situation that's trying to prove itself to us, that's hammering its issues home or its point across. It can be sometimes unpleasant. It is transitory, so it's not everlasting. It's not the hugest of situations, let's just say that. But if there's something that's plaguing us, bothering us, pestering in some shape or form, that's going to be around us this month. Let's just face it, right? Do we want to engage with it in that way? Probably not, is my feeling, especially with that Ten of Swords down in the foundation, because this could very well be the situation that we might be freeing ourselves from. This could very well be, somebody else trying to prove their point to us or sway Virgos to their side, to their understanding, justify behavior, that kind of a thing. In the end, it's not worth the fight. It's not worth, the Five of Swords is never really the outcome that we expect from the struggle that it presents, right? So if this is somebody else's struggle being brought to you, let them bring it to you, but you don't have to engage, right? You don't have to solve it for them. If this is in any way, shape, your struggle, right, and trying to prove it to someone else, remember, if you think that if you put the energy, the effort, and the focus into it, the Five of Swords would indicate that the payoff may not necessarily be exactly what you thought. It may not feel as good or maybe as understood as you were expecting. So you could be setting, and I'm just saying this as a could, because that Ten of Swords down there makes me a little bit wary. You could be up for maybe dredging up some stuff that is old for you or painful for you in the attempt to sort of prove what argument or issue may be with somebody that maybe can't hear it or won't understand it or won't honor it in the way that you need. Ultimately, like with the Hanged Man up in the spirit space, I think the honor needs to come from within you more so than anything else, Virgo. Let's go to the next outside influence. So this is the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is a beautiful card. This is about fire energy, right? Being wands. So it is about the spirit. But this is also about soulmate connections. So this can be about people that we're really tied to, people that we're spiritually moved by, people that or connections that we really feel like bonded to, connected to, engaged in, or that we have been engaged in. It's interesting that we have the Five of Swords on one side and the Four of Wands on the other, in the sense that I kind of feel like maybe this month might be about Virgo redefining some of their relationships to people that may have been very important to them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are no longer important to them. That Four of Wands can indicate, sometimes they call it the soulmate card. The Four of Wands usually is celebratory. It's indicated with like sort of a marriage happening on it. Here we have a bunch of cats celebrating underneath the trellises of the wands. But to me, when I'm looking at it, it might be the very person that we love the most that drives us the most crazy, or the very person that we love the most that we can't quite really fully understand, because that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from the Five on one side and the Four on the other. It's sort of like this off-on maybe relationship that it means a lot to us. We maybe do care about it, but we maybe can't. We might have to be careful how we interact with it in a way, because the Hanged Man is up there. There's something going on up there where there's some realization that either you need to have about the potential for this relationship, this situation, or these things going on in your life, that there's almost like a choice here. We can choose to engage with it like the Four of Wands, or we can choose to engage with it like the Five of Swords, right? It may meet us in both ways at different times throughout the month, or we may meet it in those ways, right? Those could be the influences, the way we're seeing or perceiving the situation to be, right? Is it a fight, or are we honoring the connection, right? The Four of Wands to me would be about sort of honoring the depth of the connection, the feelings that, or the love, the warmth, the spiritual connection you may have, but you don't want to get to that place of fighting with it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. You'll have to leave me like a comment. But be aware. Ultimately, the Four of Wands is a good card, so it's not like you have all bad stuff this month, Virgo. It's definitely an uplifting, warm, connected energy. So we want to take that and utilize that and find opportunities to be in that sort of grace, that feeling, that connection, rather than being in the fight or the struggle or the proving of one's point of the Five of Swords. Okay, so if we're dwelling on the past or trying to go back to the past to prove a point of any kind, or if somebody else around us that we care deeply about is doing that with us, maybe we don't want to engage. Maybe we want to withdraw. On either side of that coin. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So the next part is the potential outcome. This is sort of where things are heading, barring that nothing major changes. So this card tells us a little bit about sort of where things are going for the majority of the Virgos. It's not set in stone, though. You can use it as a warning. If it's a negative card, you can use it as a warning and make choices and changes through free will to affect the outcome. So this card does not come to pass. But if it is a positive card and you like the card, take heart in the fact that you're naturally heading towards it. I'll take it. So this is the Empress. This is definitely Earth energy. She's definitely in charge. She's loving, she's kind, she's associated with the planet Venus and the sign of Taurus. Therefore, she's very much in line with Virgo in her energy, because Taurus is your sort of fellow Earth sign. Virgo, sorry. Venus, it's the V's. Venus is very much love-oriented, right? She sees the beauty in things. She is the Four of Wands, right? This is like, if my Virgos are having a hard time seeing the beauty, maybe the judgment is the Five of Swords, right? Us being skeptical, not maybe trusting. But then we have these options with the Four of Wands to connect in a spiritual way and find maybe sort of compassion, or see things through like a little bit of a higher lens, or I don't know, more of a spiritual focus. The Empress certainly brings that, right? She's sort of it's like us becoming that in a way. The Empress could be the evolution of the Nine of Pentacles, right? She's very much a creator. She's very much inspired. She's definitely with birth, creativity, connection to nature, all of those sort of things, right? So in that way, I would see this as Virgo ending out the month feeling very connected to their environment, feeling at peace with their environment, feeling creative, feeling inspired, feeling in charge, and like not in charge like in a bossy sort of way, but like sort of just feeling at ease with the ability, it's this feeling of I am safe. Like, we can give to ourselves what we need. We can choose to look through the eyes of Venus and that of love, and ground that love into the reality of what our universe is, or what our environment is, and create that through this Empress energy at the end of the month. Does that make sense? And that's powerful stuff. We're ending out on this major arcana, so the ending of the month will be really beautiful. I see that there's an opportunity here. There's a huge opportunity here for self-realization, for oneself from maybe old thoughts or old patterns or old situations or people that maybe have engaged with us in ways that just don't suit us anymore. And we're learning this month that we need to change or learn different aspects of ourselves, i.e. through that Hanged Man, that will teach us, that will enlighten us, and that will bring us to this arrival at this state of the Empress, where she provides, She provides everything she needs, the Empress does. And so she is like the Nine of Pentacles on steroids, right? I think that this is a really beautiful, lovely month for you guys. Enjoy it. That is your forecast. I hope it makes sense. I know it's a rather broad, but it is intended for a lot of people. This should be a very wonderful month for my Virgo friends. Please have a good August. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and share the video out with any of your Virgo friends or anybody that dates or loves a Virgo. They could check this out if they're interested in keeping tabs on what their little Virgo friends are doing. And I look forward to seeing you guys next month. Hopefully I will be not so focused on my jaw. And thank you guys for tuning in. You can always join me on the YouTube channel for the daily video there for all signs every morning. And I look forward to seeing you guys later. All right, have a great August. Take care, Virgo. Bye-bye.